Hi there, my name is Lungile Nkosi, also known as the Pillow Fluffer. I am an interior stylist and writer. I'm super excited about today's video because I got to chat to two really dope designers, Mmamotsatsi Masike and Sifiso Shange. Both of them are award-winning designers for their interior design as well as furniture design. So what I love about them is how open they are about their inspiration, and most of their inspiration comes from their heritage, spirituality, as well as femininity, which are important things when it comes to interior spaces. And since we at the Pillow Fluffer are all about energy, we thought we could share this experience with you in a 3-part series. So yeah, welcome to part 1 of our interview with Masike and with Shange. And in this interview, we'll just be getting to know them a little more and what their inspiration is. Hi, welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
If you guys could just introduce yourselves and tell us what you do, just a short introduction, quick, and then we can get into the chat.
Ladies first.
Okay, cool.
Okay, that's...
Alright, cool. So I'm Daddy, founder of Design Muse, and the creative director. So basically what Design Muse does is it specializes in interior design and bespoke furniture design. We try to use inspirational African stories in our design, just anything. Turning any form of art, whether it's poetry, whether it's story, whether it's movies, turning that into a functional piece of art, just so that when people engage in it with it and learning the story behind it, it inspires them. So that's where our whole concept basically and our main objective of design comes from.
Okay, great.
Hey guys, I'm Sifiso Shange, the founder and creative director of Afrimodern. I basically tell stories through design, plan on creating the world's biggest storage company from Africa that sells luxury storage goods, and that's through servers and cabinets. And then, I love art, I've started diving into that space. But basically, in a nutshell, all I do is really just take African Zulu stories and turn them into beautiful design with the quest to preserve my culture, and that's about it.
Okay, great. Well, thanks, guys. Oh, God. Okay, wow. Hi, I am Lungile Nkosi. I am an interior stylist and writer. And founder of the Pillow Fluffer. And I love design. I live for design. I love speaking to designers. I love interacting with designers. I love interacting with design and art. And that's basically who I am. And I am your host for today.
Thank you.
Okay. I think let's just jump into it. Sifiso and I just had a very brief chat about the importance of spirituality in design, and that there's a bit of a lack in the discussion that needs to happen because a lot of the times people just think design is about aesthetics, but they don't understand the impact that it has on you emotionally, mentally, physically even. So if we can just get into that, and you guys can tell us from your perspective what you understand and what the importance of spirituality in an interior space is, if there is an importance.
I'll let you guide this, Tati, especially being someone that's speaking of poetry and art, and then I'll pick it up from you. And you've already got the vibe for it. You've got the candles lit up there. You've got the whole going on there. I'll let you begin.
You guys are ridiculous. Okay, so you know, I think people don't understand spirituality in interior design because firstly they misinform. They mix up spirituality and religion, you know. And I think that we have to break it down to them first, what the difference is. Because as soon as we say spirituality in interiors, they're thinking like church altars and a big cross over there and Christ or Buddha or whoever that they believe in, you know. And it's absolutely nothing like that. Yes, you can create that, which would be form altars, your shrine. But spirituality in interior, basically, it's mindfulness. You know, creating a space where it's calm, it's tranquil, you can think. I mean, for example, clutter. We all know that when a house is cluttered, you can't think straight. You're just agitated for no reason. It's stagnant energy in the space, you know. So it's just putting things around or things having their own space, just so that there is no clutter, there is no stagnant energy in the atmosphere, you know, that will affect you, you know. And the other aspect of it is you could use colors, you know. I mean, there's psychology behind colors. White, obviously, you know, purity, innocence, brown is for groundedness, stability, and all of that. So depending on where you are in your life, obviously interior designers will work around what it is that you want and what it is that you want to accomplish, you know. If you practice any spirituality, you know, then you will have your home altars, your home shrine, where then you design it with intention, you know, because like how I said before, colors have their own meanings, you know. So then you get to know your client, you find out about their inspirations, and if they're in the creative industry, just like ourselves, then you know you use it as like a bit of yellows, a bit of oranges, because those have to do with creativity. You know, maybe you're dealing with a client, a married couple perhaps, that are having fertility issues. And then you take into consideration the shapes that you put in there. You know, a circle, you know, is a feminine element, you know, and it symbolizes life and it's never ending, you know. So that would be the feng shui part of the interiors that you would work in and the elements that you put in. So it's just a compass of just like the color schemes and the kind of shapes that you put in the space, and also just how you position the rooms and the windows, you know, just so that the energy is right for what it is that you're trying to achieve, or the kind of mindset that you want, you know. Yeah. So basically, spirituality and interiors, it's an act of mindfulness, you know, where you are being mindful and your environment allows you to do that.
Great.
Shout out to you, Tati, for that. I think it's important for us to be mindful of the spaces we exist in and the spaces we live in, and just to pick up on like you said, the elements we have in the spaces, from color, from finishes, from the way we plan spaces to the way we, you know, put everything together. I think, you know, spirituality in a space is the emotional and spiritual connection you have with that space, you know, and it could come in all sorts of things, you know. And I think everyone has, you know, their own way of feeling it. That's why when you spoke about clutter, I kind of went, she's true, but also not true, because my brother loves clutter. That man loves clutter, but for him, that's where he finds meaning in his space. That's how he copes. That's how he functions. So I think it's really an individual thing. And if, you know, there's more occupants in the space, it's really finding that center and finding those things within the space that give you that connection, and then, you know, growing with those things. I have an artwork that I did a while ago as a tribute to my mother, and that makes me feel a certain way when I'm in the space, just because of the emotional connection I have with it and what it represents. So I always find peace in it. I always find some sort of light in it. So I think really, you know, spirituality has become such an individual thing, and it's all about embracing who we are in our most unique form, and then creating spaces that speak to that and that enhance that and that celebrate that. And then, I mean, it makes it easier, because we come back and live in those spaces, especially because we live in such a cluttered world. We live in such a digital influence world, and there's so much happening. You want to be able to have a living space that makes you feel centered.
Completely true, because at the end of the day, spirituality is, reaching your highest self. So then that's how you need to be in a space that encourages that. So you're absolutely right when you say that it's an individual thing.
So as interior designers and product designers, because now you guys are furniture designers, and I mean, you're going to go off into other kind of products. How do you ensure that you're bringing positivity into a space through your work?
So, yeah, a lot of my work is based on positivity, and it's based on 7 values that, my grandmother shared to me that shape, everything that I do around the brand: love, care, unity, faith, patience, listening, unity. And then from that, I create the stories, and all of those stories are stories that really inspire and bring positive light into spaces. The patterns come from a place where, it was all about creating patterns that would narrate a story that would give power and strength. So there's a lot of ways you can do it. Specifically, that's what I focus in. And, everyone has their own way of, how they receive the stories and how they receive and the products I create. But in a nutshell, it's really about just being pure in the story that you're telling, being honest in the story that you're telling, and being relatable, and making sure that in all of those elements above, you're creating something that people find positivity in, And that's always been my thing in terms of how I create these stories. And that's the positivity I bring into these spaces. I've got a piece of furniture here at the spot that was the first piece of furniture I made. And it was a tribute to a friend of mine who was getting married at the time. And I had seen the whole courtship and his relationship from the start to him marrying his beautiful wife now. And I did it as a tribute to that. And every time I look at that piece of furniture, I'm reminded of the power of love. I'm reminded of, love is patience. Love is respect. Love is endurance. Love is being there for one another. It's listening to each another. There's so much that love has, and that's what that piece represents for me. And I think that's what I always try and give out to people when I create these stories, that find something that you can relate in the story and make it become you, so that you can share light and give positivity to it. So that's how I do it in my work, and I'm sure a lot of designers have a lot of ways in which they do it. I'm sure like now Tsatsi is gonna shed light on how she does it in terms of her stuff.
So basically with me and my latest range, the Muse range, what I do is I obviously do a bit of research, and I find the most impactful story and translate that into a functional art. So with the series that I just did now, I found all female army, the Kingdom of Diversity. And I found it really powerful, so it was basic. That story for me, well, it's not even a story, that's an actual thing that happened, So that for me is telling our heritage through an art piece, So basically those women were warriors, So I was like, okay, basically they are balanced in terms of their feminine energy and their masculine energy. How do I translate that into design? And what makes it even more interesting is when I tell the people how I came about the design. These are the women that inspired it. This is what they did. And these are the characteristics that they had personally. And I use those same characteristics, but translating them into design elements. And with me telling that part of history is actually very inspiring and intriguing, that now it's turned into a piece of furniture that you can take home, and when they ask about it, you've got something powerful to tell, and also you have a symbol of power and wealth, and strength. And it was basically just embracing women and men stepping into their feminine power and celebrating it, But also there's also an interesting aspect that I'm delving into right now in terms of what Link was saying. Well, besides the story of how I bring positivity, is there's something called sacred geometry. I'm very into it, and numerology as well. And each number has an energy and frequency. And so now what I do is when I design, I make sure that I basically use 3, 6, and 9, just like Nikola Tesla, because there's power behind it, there's energy behind it, you know. And I mean, maybe it may not change physically, it may not change anything physically, but surely I'm hoping psychologically it does something, you know. So it's very interesting just playing around with all those concepts and ideas from scientists and inventors that actually know about numerology and sacred geometry, you know. And it's also dope that sacred geometry, that's how God created the earth. Everything is a number, everything is a pattern. That's how you have your rhythms and your cycle, a beginning and an end. Everything is energy, you know. So and everything is interconnected, you know, from plants to us humans, you know, to the atoms within your woods and everything. You know, it's an energy. So if you can use that in a positive way within a space, you are connecting to, which is what is all, what we consider all, or what we consider God, or the universe, you know. So yeah, very interesting.
There's a strong element of the subconscious that comes to exist in all of this, which I think can then, you know, directly be connected to the spiritual side of who we are. Number systems, they've always been a huge part of the work I do myself. To now, the whole brand is based on that. It's based on like sacred geometry, from beadwork, from art, from what, you know, all use then to connect to Abangaseko. So, you know, it's using all of those things, and some people love that, and some people can get connected to that, and it's a heightening feeling for them, as it is for myself. And some people just don't see it; they see triangles, and that's good, you know.
Have it for part 1 of our 3-part series of spirituality in design. I hope you enjoyed it just as much as we did. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share with all your friends and family and everyone who's interested in design and this topic. And we will see you next week with some more. Till then, follow us all on Instagram and Twitter. I will put our handles down below, and enjoy your week ahead. Cheers.